GZ.
Yes, my people, we're back again. It's been more than a minute. Things have just been happening, but as you can see, it looks a bit different than before. Just trying to improve, trying to do things differently, moving on to the new concept of live streams. And just because of life and many responsibilities that I have, this will be the most effective way to get the content out. This is for the early birds. If you're in the UK, this will be the new concept, live streaming, hopefully twice a week around this time in the morning. So if you want some early morning motivation, you've come to the right place. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about the book Ikigai, a fantastic book by Francesc Miralles and Hector Garcia, and it's the Japanese secrets to a long and happy life. So let's get into it. Excuse me, mate. Got 2 minutes? Ever felt like your life is, not in the right direction, or you're looking for purpose and direction? Well, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the book Ikigai, the Japanese secrets to a long and happy life. So stay tuned here on Better You Into. Alright, Ikigai is a book and a concept that basically means the happiness of always staying busy. The book is just based on a particular island, a Japanese island called Okinawa, in the south of Japan, and that's the highest population of the percentage of centurions. So these are people that live over the age of 19, and the whole book is a study on these people, as to, what is it that they're doing in order to live for that long. And so, it's a very good book, telling you the secrets that they do, things that they do in order to live that long. It mentions about that they have a good sense of community. They, socialize a lot, And as human beings, we are very much relational creatures, and have a sense of a community is always good for your health. Getting enough rest is also another one of the secrets. They always make sure that they get a lot of rest and do what they need to do in terms of their lifestyle. Ikigai talks a lot about the importance of making sure that you do not retire. It's a very, very important concept. And Ikigai is the art of staying young whilst growing old. They tend to always make sure that they have something to do, even if they get to a point of the age of retirement from their usual jobs. They make sure that they're not retiring from life, so not just sitting down on the sofa watching TV all day. A lot of them are very much involved in gardening and doing what it is that they need to do. They're much more likely to experience inflammatory diseases and chronic diseases like cancer and diabetes. Their diet is also a big thing regarding their long health. They eat diet which is rich in foods that are high in antioxidants like green tea. They also have they eat a lot of foods like tofu, sweet potatoes, etc. Not only that, they are very much into their games. So there's a game that they play called Gate Ball. This is a game that's available for people of all ages, and I think even up to the age of 100, or there is no upper limit as to what age you can play this game. So take a look at this book and find out and see what it is that these people do that help them to live a long life, and maybe there's some things that you can apply to your own life that will help you and make some changes that will make you be and keep forever young. Music, song and dance is also a very much essential part of their everyday life, and they have local competitions regarding their favorite game, Gate Ball, which they play, I believe, weekly. And moving on, finally, there's 10 rules to Ikigai. Rule number 1, and that is stay active, don't retire. Those that give up doing these things that they are likely to do and to do well end up losing their purpose in life. Number 2, take it slow. There's a correlation between the sense of urgency and the quality of life. Number 3, don't fill your stomach. Eat a little less than your hunger demands. Number 4, surround yourself with good friends. Friends are the best medicine. Number 5, get in shape for your next birthday. Exercise frequently. Exercise releases hormones that make you happy. Number 6, a cheerful attitude is not only relaxing, but helps make friends. Number 7, reconnect with nature. Human beings are made to be a part of the natural world. Return to it to recharge your batteries. Number 8, give thanks. Number 9, live in the moment. Stop regretting the past and fearing the future. And number 10, follow your Ikigai. I would very much recommend this book. Take a look in this book so that you can be forever young. Alright, so let's move on to the next part of this live stream. So what I want to do now is just go through some of my favorite quotes that I found from this book and just talk about them from my own perspective. So Ikigai is a very, very good book that I found very inspiring, and here are some of my favorite quotes. So number 1, we can get that on the screen. first quote we're going to talk about is Ikigai is the art of staying young while growing old. So you can see that on the screen right there. Ikigai is the art of staying young whilst growing old. So yeah, the question I have to ask you is, what are you doing to stay young? Or rather, is your habits making you grow older quicker? It's food for thought, because you know, our lifestyles is what's contributing towards the end result. I remember seeing an advert from Evian, you know, the water company, and you know, their slogan is "Live Young." And you know, you'll see famous tennis stars, Maria Sharapova, I think some others, and then they will get babies wearing their clothes. And what they're trying to say is, or what they're trying to insinuate is, if you drink their water, it will keep you forever young, give you a baby face, etc. And very much the concept of this book in Ikigai, it talks a lot about what the people of the Okinawan people, you know, small village in the south of Japan, the small village, what the things that they do. They exercise regularly, they have a healthy, balanced diet, they're part of a community, they keep themselves busy, and these are the things that help them to stay young. And you know, you have to ask yourself the question, am I part of a community? Do I interact with people on a regular basis? You know, we're too much now in this technological age, you know, where everything is online, Zoom meetings, etc. And I know we're a bit more out and about now since, you know, the lockdown has been lifted. But you know, are you interacting with people? Are you, you know, getting yourself out of the house, interacting with others? Do you exercise regularly? Is your diet a good diet, or is it filled with junk and, you know, all other things? We have to ask ourselves these questions. And you know, if these people have the highest percentage of centurions, people that live over the age of 100, I think it's a good idea to take note and, you know, take some of what they do on board. It also mentions things like them having, I think, 3 cups of green tea or jasmine tea, you know, things like that. Foods in high in antioxidants, which help them stay young also. Let's move on to the next one. Number 2, we have the next quote. The words Ikigai can be broken into 2 words. Let me put that in quotes. Iki, which means life, and then you've got Gai, which means worthwhile. So the word Ikigai means a life worthwhile. Another question, are you living a life that's worthwhile? You know, what are the meaningful things in life that you are pursuing, that are important to you? What are the things that, you know, give you that kind of sense of fulfillment? Well, what things could you do that could bring more fulfillment in life? Life has its way of getting in the way of the things that are more important. You know, we get into the rat race, we're working, we're up and down, we're, you know, focused on our goals, maybe earning a certain amount of money, buying a particular car, living in a particular type of house, etc. And, you know, is this the most important thing in life? What's the point of buying a nice car or living in a big house if you don't have anyone to share that with? You know, purpose is always related to other people. doesn't matter how successful you are, you always hear of people that are successful that end up committing suicide, and it's just like, you know, with all the money and the fame and everything, the accolades that come with it, you would have thought that that would be enough to keep somebody happy. But you know, you could be poor in terms of monetary value, but you could be very rich in terms of the people that you have around you, the sense of community, the love that you experience and feel. And so it's very important that we make time for the most important things, those purposeful things in life, whether it is your children, whether it is your faith, whether it is, you know, some sort of mission that you have, or some sort of goal, but it has to be related to other people. That's the most important thing. Let's move on to the next one, number 3. So yeah, guys, just bear with me. New way of doing things, but I feel once we get to a better level in terms of more seamless, it will be more enjoyable. And the next quote we have that resonated with me was the secret to keeping the body young, keeping the body young is by keeping the mind active. The secret to keeping the body young is by keeping the mind active. Another question: is your mind being challenged? Are you challenging your mind in your day-to-day life? What things are you doing to challenge your mind? The mind is a muscle. You know, the concept of, you know, you going to the gym. A lot of people suffered during the lockdown, not being able to go to the gym. They had to find other ways, whether it was going for a run, using resistant bands, you know, to build that muscle. But there's a saying that my pastor always says, use it or lose it. You know, a muscle needs to be used. It needs to be exercised. Especially when you go to the gym, when you use the gym, when you exercise and you feel that bit of pain because the muscles are broken down and they're repairing and they're growing. What are you doing? What sort of exercises are you doing for your mind? Again, life has its way of getting in the way. Are you just in a monotonous routine? You know, you get up, you go to work, you come home, watch your favorite Netflix series, and you go again. You know, what is it that, get a number up, yeah. What is it that you're doing in your day-to-day to challenge your mind? So again, it's very important to make time in your schedule to challenge your brain. Do things like learn an instrument, take on projects, maybe some mental arithmetic or something that challenges your mind, word searches, anything that can be done to challenge your mind. What they say is dementia is not really a disease for the elderly. You can grow old with a sharp mind if it's challenged enough. It's a bit of a myth that dementia is because of old age. It's not really that. It's a mind that's not been challenged that's causing people to get dementia in a general sense. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4. Let's spell that correctly. There is no future, no past, there is only the present. There is no future, there is no past, there is only the present. What I liked about this quote is the notion of you taking control of what is within your control. There's so many things in life that you have no control over, but ultimately we have to learn how to trust God, believe God, and just do the things that you can do and not worry about the things that you cannot control. The past is gone, so if you've made mistakes in the past, start again in the present moment. You know, there's time to turn things around. the future will one day become the present. And if you don't know how to enjoy the present, what makes you think you will enjoy the future? We're always looking at the next thing, always comparing ourselves to other people, always thinking that, oh, if only I was like this person or like that person, then life will be much better. But really, look at what you do have in your life and enjoy it now. And you know, that will help you in turn to enjoy the future successes, the future, you know, you achieving the goals, etc. So again, take control of the things that's within your control, leave the rest to God. Moving on to the final quote. Number 5, we have, he who has a why to live for can live. He who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how. What is it that drives you when you wake up in the morning? There's a saying that goes, purpose is the greatest alarm clock. What is it that gets you up in the morning? What is it that stirs you? What is it that drives you? You know, what force, what kind of external or internal force that's pushing you to do better, to do more, you know, to improve, to not be satisfied with where you're at, to contend for more? What is it? How do you find your why? Your why can be your children, it could be your legacy, it could be, you know, your desires and goals, you know, the feeling, again, the notion of there's more to life than whatever it is that you have in your life. And as a saying goes, as a quote goes, you can bear with almost any how. So any obstacles that come in the way regarding your why, you know, how it needs to be done can be overcome. And yeah, there you go. There's my 5 favorite quotes from the book Ikigai. Put in the comments section which ones resonated with you the most. And again, I would want to recommend you reading this book. Is there anything else that you got from these quotes? Maybe take a different take on them, or some maybe is there quotes of these quotes that you don't agree with? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, let's move on to the next section. Alright, so we're now moving on to the last segment of the live, and I'm going to talk about the 5 lessons that I've learned, lessons and principles that I learned from this book, and just talk about them a little bit more detail. Yeah, once again, Ikigai is a very good book, intriguing book. I'm very much interested in practical wisdom. You know, if there's practical things that I can be doing that will help me in my own personal life, and what can we take on. And that whenever I read a book, I always look for some sort of principle or, you know, lesson that I can apply into my own life. So let's get into it. By the way, it's my new studio, as you can see. It's not bad, isn't it? Alright. Okay, so let's move on. First lesson. Sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me, but in due time it will definitely be a lot more seamless. So the first lesson that we've got is whatever you do not retire. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Do not retire. Do not retire, lesson number 1. So with this book, it's very much big on, the concept of retirement. And again, the people of Okinawa, they do not retire. They may retire from their, vocation, but they don't retire in life. Now, I'm very much big on, financial independence and etc. There's this concept of FIRE, FIRE, financial independence, retire early. I believe that's what it stands for, off the top of my head. And the word retire means the action or fact of leaving one's job and ceasing to work. Ironically, there's no word in Japan that actually means to retire as in leaving a workforce. Many of the Japanese, when they retire from work, they don't retire in life as long as their health permits. They don't retire in life. They make sure that they stay active. As I mentioned before, they are very much big on their gardening. So elderly people will go out to their garden, tend to their garden. It takes a lot of work in order to, keep your props on point, etc. And, again, it doesn't matter if you're in your 60s, your 80s, your 70s, your 80s, even 90s, they still keep themselves very much active, and they choose to retire at a people that choose to retire at a younger age, i.e., maybe their early 60s, but give themselves nothing to do, they tend to not live as long as those who continue to find some form of work, whether it be your gardening or some community project or etc. We need to be challenged as human beings. We need to be active. You always hear of stories of people, not losing their minds, but getting bored out of their minds because they have nothing to do, just sitting at home all day watching the TV. It's a lack of purpose in life. All right, let's move on to the next one. So the next lesson, number 2, is they live They live longer than everyone, and they also are much less likely to experience cancer, diabetes. But yes, people, if you're tuning in, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with somebody that this might benefit. But yes, the next lesson that I got from this was that they live longer than everyone else, and they also are much less likely to experience inflammatory or chronic diseases like cancer and diabetes. Now, I don't know about you, I don't want to get cancer or diabetes, but it seems by the research that cancer is on the rise. Now, it's ironic because we have technological advances in the medical industry certain diseases have been almost eradicated because of the technology, and we thank God for that. But why is it that cancer is on the rise? Why is it that they haven't seemed to found a universal cure for, or a prevention of cancer? And again, from what I've read and what I've learned, a lot of it's to do with the lifestyle. Our lifestyles are causing cancer and these inflammatory diseases. And once again, when we hear about these Okinawan people living, in their hundreds, they have the highest percentage of centurions in the village. There's some things that we ought to take note. They're doing something right. That's definite. And again, like what the book mentions, a sense of community. You need to have a sense of community in your life. Who do you interact with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? What things are you consuming? The saying goes, you are what you eat. And it is very true. What kind of environment are you creating within your body that allows the cancerous cells to excel? Are your foods high in saturated fats? All that junk food, all that good stuff, high in sugar, high in calories, etc. What is it that you're doing that's causing cancerous cells to excel? So that was the second lesson that I thought was very good. The next lesson we're going to talk about is active minds, active body. So I did mention this with the quotes already, but this is a very important lesson for me anyway. It's something that I've been applying personally, and it's important to expose yourself to change, even if it brings a little bit of entirety, because if you continue to stay stuck in your ways, you do things on autopilot, and therefore your brain is not challenged, and therefore that your brain is not working. And again, use it or lose it. Your brain is a muscle. If you don't exercise your brain as a muscle, it will get weaker. Things like learning an instrument that challenge your brain, having to put yourself in a situation where you don't know something and trying to learn something new, trying to learn a new chord or a new riff. Or I've recently picked up the bass guitar just for leisurely purpose, but again, because I read it in a book that learning an instrument is probably one of the best things that you can do to challenge your brain. That's why I picked it up. Doing things like reading books, again, because of this new technological age, we don't really read books as much. Not much is left for the imagination, whereas reading a book helps you develop your mind, because as you're reading, your mind is imagining what's happening in the story, and also maybe getting involved in some sort of mental arithmetic or whatever the case is. But it's very important for us to challenge our minds, so that our minds can get stronger, the muscle can get stronger. Keep the brain working and keep yourself sharp, keep the mind sharp. Learn a new skill. Again, as we're watching here, live stream, animation, a new skill that I've learned. Not where I want to be, but it's a new skill that I'm learning. So that's also another great thing to do. Take your mind, keep sharp. Alright, on to our final two lessons. Number 4. Overeating can cause your body to go into a long digestive process that Cellular oxidation. So this is a new term that I learned from this book, and again, that's why it's good to read books. You get exposed to new words and new terms. So this term, cellular oxidation, and it says that overeating can cause your body to go into a long digestive process, which causes cellular oxidation. So again, I'm not expert in this, but from what I got from the book, it says oxidative stress has more harmful properties than helpful ones. It can break down cell tissue and cause DNA damage. This damage can also result in inflammation. These factors can lead to a long life diseases like diabetes, cancer in some cases. And think of rust. When certain materials are exposed to air, it causes rust. A good example of that, I have children, they like to, if they take an apple, they'll say they want an apple, they'll bite the apple, have maybe 1 or 2 bites, and then they don't want it anymore, leave it on the side. When you bite an apple and then leave it on the side, once the air starts getting to it, you notice the apple starts going brown. The inside of the apple starts going brown because it's been exposed to oxygen. And that's why when you have an environment within your body, I think it talks about free radicals in your body. This creates the perfect environment for cancerous cells to thrive. Everyone has cancerous cells in their body. It's about the environment within your body that allows those cancerous cells to thrive. And again, the people of Okinawa eat foods high in antioxidants, and antioxidants reduce the amount of movement of free radicals which were within your system that can cause damage. So again, it's very important to eat those foods that are high in antioxidants, things like the green tea, and there's full list of different things that they eat just to balance things out within your body. And overeating, another thing that they said in the book is that they only eat, I think, when they feel about 80% full. So they never eat to the point where they're completely bloated, completely full. Again, just so that it gives your digestive system not a rest, but not overwork. It doesn't overwork your digestive system, which is another thing that ages you quicker when your digestive system has to work overtime. And then last but not least, the 5th lesson that I got from this book, which I found very helpful, was the 10 rules to Ikigai. Number 10. The 10th rule was follow your Ikigai. So follow your Ikigai. What you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, what the world needs. It's all about finding the right balance in life. Too much of one particular thing will bring frustration in another area in some way, shape or form. And this is something that I've been striving for very much recently. This book has helped me with that. We need to find balance in life. I feel like, again, if you're so much engrossed in your work, but then you neglect time for your family, whether that be your immediate family or extended family, it may cause some form of frustration. But then on the flip side, if you spend too much time with the family and then you're not earning enough to provide for that family, that will also bring frustration. Things that you're good at, your giftings. Everyone has a gift. Everyone is gifted in something. If you're not using those gifts, that may also bring some form of frustration. Things that you love, things that you're interested in. I'm very much a big football fan. Make time for those leisurely things that bring you pleasure and joy. Again, if you don't spend enough time allowing yourself to indulge in the things that you enjoy, that will also bring some form of frustration. So ultimately, the key lesson here is finding the right balance, and it's always hard to get it right. we live in times and seasons. At some point in time, some seasons may not permit for you to have the right balance all the time, but you should always be striving for the right balance in life. And yes, that is it for today. Thank you very much. For those that will be watching, this video will obviously be loaded on the YouTube channel. It feels good to be back. It's been more than a minute, and once again, don't forget to like and subscribe, share it to somebody that this will benefit. Ikigai is a book that I would definitely recommend, about finding purpose regardless of your faith, your religion. There's so many points that you could take from it in terms of finding your purpose in life. There's a lot of practical wisdom in there in terms of making sure that you're a part of a community, making sure that you're eating well, making sure that you're keeping your mind sharp. And these are the things that will help you to stay forever young. So have a good time. God bless. Enjoy your week. And until next time, thank you very much.